So I'd just come back from a recent trip to Emmetts Garden, which is a National Trust property. I visited in September, but I saw lots of signs for the Fungi Festival and I knew that I had to come back and check it out. So the Fungi Festival runs from the 6th to the 29th of October. So the inspiration for the Fungi Festival came from the incredible array of specimens that can be found at Emmetts Garden. The damp woodland creates an ideal environment for various types of fungi to thrive, including the red and white spotted fly agaric, stinkhorn, shaggy parasols and fairy's bonnet. I did actually find a few when I was making this video, although unfortunately a lot of them do seem to get picked, which is a shame. So they have various events on over the period, and when I went there was this beautiful little marketplace with such gorgeous crafts set up. I think this was one of my favourite stalls, to be honest. I absolutely loved their pottery with the little mushrooms. A lot of these stalls can actually be found on Etsy. There was quite a lot of stuff for children, particularly where they could get something for £3 to £5, a cute little animal or something. I absolutely love this jewellery as well, with all the natural themes. It's by Paget Jewellery and I really would love to get a piece of hers in the future. My other favourite stall was probably this one. I thought these pendants with the mushrooms and the crystals on the end were just stunning. Unfortunately, I can't remember what the name of this store was. It says here in the mushroom on the earrings, but I couldn't find that anywhere. And then there was this stall where they basically made these 3D art canvases, and then a lady that was selling dried and fresh mushrooms. I like these leaflets they gave out as well. I'm all for keeping cash alive. So whilst I was there was a lady that had all these mushrooms out on display, and she talked us through various types of mushrooms, how to identify them and what to look for. There's also many other talks that they have on over the next few weeks that include exploring the history and purpose of mushrooms, and also everything to do with mushroom medicine and fungi horror. Mushrooms are such an integral part of our society. Not only have they long been associated with magic, myth and legend, they also have some unique and special properties as they fall between the gaps in the plant world. Being a species of their own, they have ingenious ways of communicating with one another and play an important role in the ecosystem in breaking down dead matter, capturing carbon and providing a food source for many creatures. On this stall, we not only got to see the mushrooms, but we were allowed to touch them as well and feel all the textures of the various types of mushrooms. So they also had a soundscape exhibition, which was a live exhibition, and as you walked around the garden, there was various barcodes that you could scan and it would bring up experimental music by various musicians that had tapped into different types of mushroom. And this is what happens when you film yourself and have a feeble tripod. I was really happy that I'd actually brought my headphones with me completely by accident, so I did get to tune in and meditate to some of this wonderful music. Whilst you're here, it's definitely worth taking a look around the garden, and considering I was only here a month ago, I can't believe how much has already changed in the garden and how many incredible autumn flowers and berries they have. I didn't notice this plant last time I came, and it's incredible. It's a hydrangea that somehow seems to have been grafted onto a tree or grown into a tree. This was my absolute standout plant. I'm in love with this tree. So I believe it to be a Cowsett dogwood, and it is actually edible, although definitely don't eat it on my account because I wouldn't trust eating anything that I didn't know for 100% was definitely what I thought it was. But I do believe it to be a Cowsett dogwood, and it just is absolutely covered in these gorgeous red berries. What a plant to have in autumn to break up the green and falling leaves. This is a Persian silk tree, which hails from the Middle East and Asia, as a lot of the plants in this garden do, because the owner had a real penchant for Asian plants from his travels. So on each leaf there are tiny leaflets that close when touched or the sun sets, and it gets these stunning pink flowers. Here is our favourite tree with the heart-shaped leaves again, that you will see a little bit more about in my previous video, which I will link in the comments if you want to go and see Emmett's garden as the summer is closing out before we began moving into these gorgeous autumnal colours. Another of my favourite trees, which we see a lot more often in the UK than some of the rarer Asian specimens, especially at National Trust parks actually, I find that they have a lot of these. It's the monkey puzzle tree, and I just find these trees are so elegantly shaped. Here's my dogwood tree again. This one was a different tree and it had even more berries than the other one. I can't believe it. It was covered in them. Absolutely gorgeous. I did find a few specimens of mushroom. I didn't pick this one, by the way, I have to say that. It was found like this, unfortunately. I think it got kicked over. But yeah, I did find a few. Definitely wouldn't eat any of these. Don't know what I'm doing with mushrooms. But yeah, it was just nice to find a few in location. This one is another of my favourites, and it's called a beauty berry, and the berries are a gorgeous purple colour. They are absolutely stunning in real life, and I just love these different coloured berries that bring a little bit of an unusual brightness to an autumn garden, because we get used to the same types of colours, and I think to see purple in an autumn garden is just breathtaking. So apparently these are also edible, but please don't eat anything because I said so in this video. I'm just sharing what I have researched on these plants, and I'm not an expert. It was also nice to still see a few bees around managing to find some pollen, and they love this verbena plant. This is one of my favourite parts of Emmett's garden, is the formal rose garden. I just love this because of the water fountain and the constant noise of running water. Another star of the show is these gorgeous acer trees, which have gone such a deep and intense maroon colour. They'd also put some of these mushroom sculptures up where the wildflower meadows were. Perfect for a spot of reflection or finishing off the coffee that I got from the shop. Finally, here's some information on mushrooms that they have on placards, which are very easy to read, and some nice little snippets to get more informed on mushrooms. I definitely found these easier to view just an hour before the park was closing as we approached sunset, because they were quite busy before that and you couldn't really access them very easily, but it really quietens down. I find this about most National Trust properties, at the last hour you can pretty much see everything without any people around. As always, they have the National Trust gift shop, and I do love the little gift shop at the end because I find they have some unique pieces that you don't find on the high street.